everyone, welcome back to my channel. Do you know ISO 27001 requires organization to stay connected with the information security communities? If you don't know the answer is yes. ISO 27001 Annexure 5.6 Contact with Special Interest Groups talks about how organization can stay connected with information security communities. So let's deep dive into it to understand more what is the requirement of Annexure 5.6. The control says the organization should establish and maintain contact with special interest groups or other specialist security forums and professional associations. Organization should maintain contact with all these special interest groups. Who are these special interest groups? It could be cybersecurity forums. For example, Microsoft has its own security for community. There is Cisco security advisories there. Industry specific industry security associations. For example, finance for finance services, there is Information Security Association community. Like this, there are many professional bodies like ISACA, ISC Square is there. In India, certain government cybersecurity agencies like CISA, National Cybersecurity Community, which is in UK. Cybersecurity Certain is there for India. Then threat intelligence sharing groups like OASP. Many vendor security communities are there. Sector-specific information security analysis centers are there. Basically, any group that shares useful security knowledge, those are the special interest groups. You can Google it for what are the different forums or community in India. You will get more information on that. Organization has to register with all these forums. You have to identify in your country what are the forums that are applicable. Like for India, there is one example I can say is CERT. You have to register with them. If your organization is into banking sector, then you have to be a part of these many banking cybersecurity forums so that any latest attacks that has happened, that information will reach out to you so that you can proactively take some steps to prevent your organization from those kind of attacks as well. So these kind of latest updates you keep getting from these forums. That is what ISO 27000 wants you to do. They want you to establish and maintain contact with these special interest groups or other specialist security forums and professional associations. The main reason, in simple terms, if I have to say, why ISO 27000 wants you to establish and maintain these contacts with these special interest groups, because it believes that you don't have to manage cybersecurity alone, right? Because it's such a huge world, and any part of the world or any part of the country, there is some attack that has happened. It is always better to stay connected with all these experts and industry groups so that you can share as well as you can learn from the industry experts. What is the purpose? Ensure that there is appropriate flow of information that takes place with respect to information security. If you know some information about cybersecurity attack or any cybersecurity vulnerabilities, always better to share and then in turn also to receive some inputs from these experts as well. So the goal is very simple. Stay informed about the emerging threats, vulnerabilities, best practices, and security trends by connecting with the right communities. If in see whenever you work in group or whenever you work in community, life becomes easy. So at that times you can share the best practices. You can discuss about the emerging threats. You can discuss about the latest trends in cybersecurity when you are with the right set of people. Cyber security, the technology, the innovation, and the cyber threats are evolving daily, right? If your organization works in isolation, you risk falling behind. Okay, if you say, no, I'm not going to share my knowledge with anyone, then you will be left alone. The risk is too much. Your risk of falling behind is high. This control ensures you're plugged into the wider security ecosystem. So you become a part of ecosystem, then your life becomes very easy. As every other control, this control also gives you some guidance of how you can actually implement this control. Let's read the guidance. Membership of special interest groups or forums should be considered as means to. Why should you have these memberships with these special interest groups? To improve knowledge about best practices and stay up to date with the relevant security information. Ensure the understanding of information security environment is current. Means you have the latest information of what is happening in the cybersecurity world. It is important for you to know that so that you can proactively take some measure and stay secure. Receive early warnings. So I told you, right? These cert is one example in India. When your organization registers with them, then they give you the latest early warnings of alerts or any advisories, any patches pertaining to the attacks and vulnerabilities. So they keep giving you the early early details, early emails they will be shooting out to all the people. Gain access to specialist information security advice, because in these forums we have very good experts, we have very good specialists being part of these forums. How do we know, how do we come to know about zero day attacks or any other vulnerabilities? Because of all these communities, right? These experts, these specialists, they form a forum and they keep sharing this information. Share and exchange information about new technologies, products, services, threats, or vulnerabilities. So, it is also about knowledge sharing within these communities. Provide suitable liaison points when dealing with information security incidents. So, also provide some best practices whenever you're dealing with cybersecurity incidents. That is what the guidance talk about. This control is very simple. How do we implement this control? First of all, identify the relevant security groups for your particular industry. Like if you're into finance, if you're into e-commerce, if you're into health, identify your community. Like based on your organization, you identify those security groups that are applicable for your industry. Assign responsibility to someone, usually infosec or IT, to subscribe to advisories for threat alerts. Once you identify it, have an email, okay, have a email which is used to subscribe to these communities. Have someone, either a one single person or maybe a team of people who will get these latest updates so that they can communicate that within your team. Participate in meetings and webinars. It is very important so that you get the real updates. Share relevant updates internally. Whatever updates you're getting, you have to share it within internally. Maintain the evidence of participation. So this is very important. Once you have someone assigned, and when you're participating, take the screenshot, or keep a uh, keep that email somewhere, the minutes of meeting saved somewhere, or the meeting invite saved somewhere showing that you attended it. So that becomes the evidence of your participation. ISO 27000 on this particular control does not require any heavy documentation here. It just requires that you actively connected, that you have participated and you're getting the latest updates. What will the auditors check here? During the audit, you may need to show membership records, email subscription to cert advisories, membership or any email subscription that you have showing, okay, it is valid from this date to this date, and this email has been subscribed. If you can show that, that is fine. Meeting attendance logs, threat intelligence reports that you have received from them, internal communication sharing those alerts. So if you've got any alerts, are you forwarding that to the relevant teams or just keeping it within yourself? If you're keeping it within yourself, doesn't make any sense. So whenever you get these latest alerts related to information security, communicate internally. Auditors want proof that you stay informed about the emerging risks. ISO 27001 wants you to contact these special interest groups, is that you stay informed about the emerging risks and the emerging cybersecurity incidents that are happening so that you can protect your organization. I hope this is very clear now. If you have any doubts or you have any suggestions for me, please drop your comments in the comments section. That will be really helpful. That's all for this video. In my next video, we will be discussing Annex A 5.7 threat intelligence. Until then, bye bye.